Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I was looking at the list of things that I bought in the last couple months, and I realized that I had accumulated a good collection of things, from shoes to outerwear, new to vintage, jewelry. You might already know this about me from my other videos. My number one goal when it comes to shopping is to be a conscious shopper, and I feel like in the last couple months, I've really nailed it. So let's get started. First, I want to share the items I've had on my to buy list for a while. These are the things that I felt like was really missing in my wardrobe as I was getting dressed. And I was able to check off a couple of things in the last couple months. The first one being a gray hoodie. Now, a hoodie or a zip up hoodie is just not what I typically wear. It's very casual for how I like to dress typically. What I've noticed is that, like many people, half of my jackets don't get worn in certain seasons because they're too thick or too thin. And with my thinner jackets, especially my leather ones, I wanted the ability to wear them more throughout the year. And I thought the perfect solution would be zip up hoodie. I wanted specifically a gray one, and I was so picky about this. I didn't want it to be fleece because that would be too warm. And I wanted to be like a warmer gray rather than that cool tone gray, just because that's what works best with my complexion. And I found this one from a brand called Sundae School, which is a brand inspired by a lot of Korean culture. And I've been following them for a while now. I have a couple pieces from them. I think they make their pieces really unique and really special. What I love about this one is that it almost feels like a jacket. It's lined with this beige, once again adding to that warmth of the gray, but also the gray itself is woven with beige background rather than like a white background. Beautiful details like the zipper here. I love the look of wearing this with a leather jacket in particular because I think leather jackets can feel a little bit dressed up and a little bit serious sometimes. So I love how the hood peeks out. I love how this plays with the structuredness of leather jackets by softening it up. It's honestly such a unique hoodie for how basic it is. And I highly recommend anyone to check out this brand. You don't have to be Korean. You don't have to have any affinity for the Korean culture to appreciate these pieces, which is also something that I like. The branding is subtle. So yeah, I love this. Another piece that was in my wish list for some time now was a lightweight cream jacket. And I used to have one from Massimo Dutti for years. I wore it to death and I got rid of it because I wore it to death. It became my go-to travel outfit because it was really good for layering on the plane. At the same time, it felt elevated enough that I could wear it while I was traveling. And I honestly found a better replacement. This is a cropped jacket from Athleta. The one that I used to have was really long and that didn't go with a lot of my bottoms, but this was perfect because honestly it works well with my body shape and my height. One thing that I was a little skeptical about this jacket was that it was made out of 100% polyester, which I typically wouldn't go for. But being that Athleta is a workout brand and most workout clothes are made out of polyester for the sweat wicking, I decided to give it a go. And honestly, I'm really surprised. It feels really soft. And I'm actually hoping that this will mean that it will be a lot more durable than my 100% cotton one from Massimo Dutti. At the time when I bought this, not a lot of sizes were available. So I bought it in size medium, which I'm so glad I did because I like my jackets a little bigger. And I think because it's cropped, it doesn't look like it's too big on me. When it comes to jackets, I like to size up anyway, so it was really perfect. The next item that I had on my list was a brown leather jacket. I have brown suede jackets and I have brown pea coats, but I really wanted a brown leather jacket. And as you might know, I'm a huge vintage lover and I'd been looking for honestly years, but I really want to find the perfect one because I knew that if I had one, then I wouldn't need another. So I was being patient and I finally found it. This is a brown bomber jacket from a brand called Wilson's Leather. And it's got that Thinsulate insulation, which you often see in a lot of vintage jackets. It's just whatever they use at the time to make the jacket really warm. It means that this jacket's pretty heavy. I'm not going to lie. This jacket was in the men's section of a thrift store that I went to in Monterey. It was such a steal. I think I only paid like $60 for this. And this part is removable. I love wearing this jacket tucked in to accentuate a little bit of waist. And because this is a size small and has an elastic waist at the bottom, it does stay up. This jacket is definitely vintage, but it's not that worn. As you can see, it looks pretty impeccable. There's obviously places like on the sleeve where it does have a little bit of patina, but I also love that because that's what you expect out of a jacket. I'm hoping that as a proud owner of this jacket, I will be introducing more patina to it. My last item that was on my to buy list was a pair of black shoes. I have about 3 different black loafers, but I have to say that 2 out of the 3 are not very comfortable for walking, so I would never bring them to travel. I love black shoes. They're kind of my go-to. So I wanted a pair of black shoes that were a little bit chunkier that I could travel with. And I found them at Ecco, of all places. They are these chunky ballerina sneakers. And I had no idea that Ecco made trendy shoes like this. I'm sure you already know that Ecco is kind of known for the quality of their shoes and the comfort. I've owned a couple of Ecco shoes in my life, but honestly, it's a brand that I kind of forgot about. I picture the brand as a functional brand rather than a beautiful brand. But I think I had targeted with an ad as I was searching and came across this pair. It had raving reviews about how comfortable they were. And honestly, they look comfortable. Generally, with shoes that have a thicker sole, tend to be more comfortable. And I really like that they kind of modernized it with the lace that goes all the way up to your ankle. Upon further research, I found out that Ecco has been doing a collaboration with a designer named Natasha Ramsey Levi, who is currently working for Chloe, I believe, but she's worked with like Louis Vuitton, all the big fashion houses. And I feel like the world needs to know more about this collaboration because as you scroll through the Ecco website, you can definitely tell which pieces are from her. They tend to be more modern, feminine. This is a pair by that collaboration. And if you like this type of style, I strongly suggest checking that collaboration out because all the pieces are so unique in style, but they have the comfort of Ecco shoes. And I can attest to the comfort of these shoes. I almost forgot to mention one more item, which is a ring. I got this from a vintage fair, and this is a ring that I've been looking for quite some time. It's not that I was looking for this exact ring per se, but I was looking for a gold ring with diamonds and aquamarine. And that's because those are the 2 birthstones of me and my husband. I love sentimental jewelry. If you haven't seen my jewelry collection video, you'll see that a lot of my jewelry has some story or meaning behind it. Aquamarine is actually kind of tough because it's such a cool toned blue that it doesn't really go with gold. So I haven't seen that executed well. I personally think that aquamarine looks better with 10K or 14K than being on a little bit on the cooler side rather than really yellow gold like 18K or plus. And this one caught my eye and it was an immediate love at first sight. First of all, the design is amazing. The diagonal, which goes with my wedding ring and all my other rings, I have a thing for diagonal rings. And I thought it was just really precious. And the final straw was that it fit me. I just love that feeling when you're shopping vintage and you find something and it's like an immediate pull and you're like, oh, I know I have to have it. I know I'll love it. I know I'm going to use it. That's like the best feeling because it's such a confirmation that you are making the right purchase. All right. I have 4 purchases here that were not on my list, and 2 of them I'm not sure if I'm going to keep, so I'll need your help. The first one is a vintage piece, and it's a beautiful silk scarf that is quite large, and it's got that square aspect ratio. On one side, it's polka dot, and the other side is cream, and on each end of the corner, they have tassels. I don't know this brand, but it's made in France and it's obviously in my color palette. This one is probably a little too big to wear around your head or your waist, but perhaps as a top or even like a swimsuit cover up or definitely just a scarf. I think it would be perfect. I love silk scarves as accessories because they instantly elevate an outfit and they're amazing for travel because they're so lightweight. The second item I thrifted was this wool sweater that was an instant love. I mean, look at the pattern. I have a collection of sweaters with funky patterns, and I love this one because I thought the pattern was really unique and the color palette was exactly in my season. These are all autumnal colors, and I can see me styling this in so many ways. It's from a brand called Robert Banks, which I've never heard of, and it's made in Uruguay. And it's a men's size large, which is honestly perfect for me because I love big chunky sweaters in the winter. I feel like this is the kind of style that you can see probably retailers making nowadays, except they would not charge $20 or $30 I spent for this piece. Now I'm about to contradict myself because I bought myself a rather tight sweater. This is an Adidas track sweater that is knitted. And that was instantly the reason why I bought this sweater. I do pay attention to the Adidas website because I think they do clothes really well, like leisure clothes, not just their athletic stuff. And this one really caught my eye because of the crop. It reminds me of sweaters that I probably would have worn in like high school, university. As much as I love baggy sweaters, sometimes you do want something a little bit tight fitted. And I had been looking for something like that. I guess the question that I have is whether this is a flattering look on me or whether it's a little too tight. I bought this in size extra small after reading the reviews that this sweater tends to run small. So I'm excited to style this with a couple more outfits and see how I like it. Last but not least, I bought these shoes. Now these are called the Nike Shox R4. And maybe it's not the most trendy shoes in North America right now, but I always look at Korean influencers to see what shoes are trending. And I came across this style and it's extremely athletic and dare say even like gorpcore, which is not my style. But what I liked about this model was that it almost looked like a heel, which I thought was kind of feminine for how masculine this shoe was. So I've been checking for the last couple months, and when this pair came out, I was like, all right, if I'm going to buy a version of this sneaker, it's going to be this one. It's like slightly off-white with black and brown accents. Chef's kiss. And I would just really like the combination. I like that it makes your feet look slim. And I did size up half a size. Nike tends to run a little small, so I'm a US 6.5 or European 37, but I sized up to a 7. And I would say that I could have sized up to a 7.5. I have yet to try these on with clothes. So for this video, I'm going to be trying out with my favorite pair of jeans, which are my Levi's 50190s. And if these shoes work with those jeans, then we're good. But if they don't, I'm going to have to return them. Okay. That felt like a lot of items, but keep in mind that I've been collecting these for the last couple of months. And I'm happy to say that a lot of these pieces were things that were on my to-buy list. And as for the items that weren't on my to-buy list, they were either vintage or the two items that I'm thinking about returning or keeping. So I feel like it was another successful season of shopping smart. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and I'll see you next time. Bye.